Welcome to my PowerPoint presentation on why Spine Chill is a bad perk in Dead by Daylight. Spine Chill activates when the killer looks at you with a clear line of sight. While active, you receive a small action speed bonus to most actions such as repair or healing. Spine Chill used to be a well-known and beloved perk prior to the 6.1.0 meta shakeup. In that iteration, Spine Chill did not require direct line of sight and applied its action speed bonus to vaulting. The line of sight requirement was implemented as it unfairly penalized stealth killers, whom survivors could know were approaching because of Spine Chill with no means of counteracting it. The vault speed bonus was also commonly combined with resilience, granting essentially an unconditional 50% action speed bonus to vaulting. While this does seem like a low amount, shaving off a few frames of animation could ultimately make the difference in you getting hit or going down. This can also be a helpful ward against lag or latency issues. The vaulting bonus was essentially unconditional, as the killer would almost always be looking in your direction while in chase. This vault bonus was removed as the developers felt like it did not fit the theme of the perk, but possibly also because of its strength in concert with resilience. And I don't know about you, but if I had a bloodthirsty monster behind me, I'd be scrambling faster too. After this update, Spine Chill retained one function, an accessibility feature for players hard of hearing. Because the terror radius is the primary way for survivors to judge the killer's location, players who were hard of hearing used Spine Chill to know when the killer was nearby. As a result, Spine Chill was granted an effect that allowed you to visually estimate the killer's terror radius so these players would not become significantly disadvantaged. This effect, however, was later removed with the introduction of a true accessibility feature in the form of the visual heartbeat. Spine Chill is a shell of its former self. The biggest blow to Spine Chill, in my opinion, was the introduction of requiring line of sight. The main function of Spine Chill would be to know when the killer was approaching when you could not see very far into the distance. By requiring line of sight, the perk becomes redundant. If the killer can see you, you can see them. As far as I can see, this would merely benefit players who are half paying attention to the game and don't want to have to remain alert to the killer's whereabouts. All that remains of Spine Chill is its action speed bonuses, and frankly, these are just not worth it. Spine Chill has an incredibly low bonus of 6% at tier 3, and its activation conditions essentially dictate that these will only be in effect for a few seconds at best. Keep in mind that Spine Chill has a 36 meter range limit with a line of sight requirement. In other words, in order to receive consistent value from this bonus, the killer will be power walking towards you. This results in Spine Chill being active for less than 9 seconds and translating this into a maximum of about half a second of additional progress. Even so, this assumes you won't start running before that. This is an abysmal progression bonus, and while this technically could be used to finish a generator before the killer can interrupt it, odds are it won't make a difference in most situations. Spine Chill is an awkward perk at this point in Dead by Daylight. I think some of the nerfs were warranted, yet it was not fairly compensated when these bonuses were removed. In my version of Spine Chill, it no longer requires line of sight to activate, just like its initial version. However, the survivor must be within the killer's terror radius. I think this is a fair medium between its older and current version, as it does not penalize stealth killers who have a smaller terror radius or can become undetectable, but still grant the survivor an edge on knowing when the killer is approaching. Additionally, Spine Chill now activates for a flat 10 seconds each time it is triggered, rather than flipping on or off. I think this streamlines the perk, preventing the information from being too direct on whether the killer is actually approaching, but also enabling more consistency in how it functions. I've also added an additional feature that, while the perk is active, holding line of sight on the killer reveals their aura to the survivor nearest to you for 3 seconds. This is a much more tangible effect and also balances the perk's poor action speed bonuses. Now, if the perk activates, you either get some action speed bonus because the killer isn't actually approaching you, or you're able to provide some information to the team if they are. Once activated, Spine Chill goes on cooldown for 30 seconds. Thanks for watching, leave a like, and put your thoughts in the comments below.